morning. My name is Zac Hill. I'm the plant records specialist and taxonomist here at Juniper Level Botanic Garden. We're going to look at some agaves this morning. This is one, I think we're selling it now. This is agave proto-americana funky toes. It's one we got from Yucadu. It's got really large teats with the spines on them and slightly scabrous on the back. Proto-americana is, we think it's a hybrid between Americana and Scabra. It's very hardy there in northeastern Mexico as well. Most of these things, Mexico is the center for diversity for the majority of agaves. There's a few that come into Florida and a few into Texas and then the Southwest. And then there's some species that occur in the Caribbean, but we mainly grow the things from.
How old is that plant?
This one, we moved some of these in. We've been growing this one since we've probably had this one 15, 20 years, but that plant is not 15 or 20 years old. This was moved in maybe 4 or 5 years ago from further along the path. It does sucker, so just keep that in mind when you're going to plant some of these. Yeah, like these little pups, and you can pull those off and reset them somewhere else. Yeah, and grow another one or give them away to friends. You'll never.
Much quicker than the seed. Oh,
yeah,
man.
much quicker than the seed.
Yes, definitely.
But the seeds.
Same characteristics as the parent.
Yeah, it will be. It's clonal. It's the same clone as this. Yeah. Here's another one we're not selling right now. This is Crazy Horse. It's a hybrid between Agave cupreata, which is Mexican, and Asperima, which is also Mexican. It's very rough, and you can actually, it feels like sandpaper on the back. Yeah, you can touch it.
Oh yeah.
It's
That Crazy Horse?
yeah.
This is so
But
strong.
the top of the leaf is smooth.
Yeah.
So a lot of these, it's a by feel, is you can identify some just by touching them. If yeah.
Salmiana would be smooth, right?
Yeah, with Salmiana it would be smooth, yeah. Generally, I mean, this does have that sort of look of Salmiana, like I've seen in
Salmiana,
sometimes, but it's definitely not.
terminology for it.
Yeah, I've seen real Salmiana in San Luis Potosí, sort of northeast Mexico, and it grows really high, like 7,000 feet, and the leaves are super smooth, and some of the leaves are 18 inches wide. I mean, they're huge, and the plants are 8, 9 feet. I mean, they're huge, huge plants.
Not as cold hardy though, right?
No, you throw an ice cube at them and they melt. So a lot of the stuff that's sold as Salmiana ferox in the trade is not. It's a proto-americana or a pseudo-ferox type, which may have some gentiae or montana in it as well. Here's another. It's just another Huasteca giant. We'll buy seeds in from random vendors, like rare palm seeds, of different clones, and then grow out a bunch of seeds. Tony will select 10 to 20 seedlings to put out in the garden. We'll usually sell the rest to you guys, and just so that we have for testing. So if you want to test some of these new species out, we'll sell the offspring. This one has been in the ground 5 years, and most of the ones Tony sells or plants are in like 2 quarts, so about twice the size of the containers we sell them in. We usually grow them in that size container for a year after he selects them out of quarts before they go in the garden, just to get them a little bulked up, but most of the things we sell are great to go right in the garden. So in our hybridization here, we try to mix as many genes as possible to see what happens. And this is one of our hybrids between Agave Victoria Reginae and Pseudoferox. So it basically, the Queen Victoria agave is really compact, lots of leaves, short. It gets, about twice the size of a basketball with white stripes on the leaves and no teeth on the margin. And then the Pseudoferox is like the big one back there. This basically shrunk the Pseudoferox down and gave it more leaves. So this is one we've called Upstanding. We are producing it now. This one's been in the garden since 2016, and we've never had any damage on it. We don't know the mature size yet. It's got to be getting close to being mature size. Yeah. So some sucker like crazy. This is Agave Lophantha splendida. It's like a form that's on the west side of the Sierra Nevada Oriental and Tamaulipas. They're really compact rosettes. They grow in these cracks in the rock. But they grow like this. I've never seen clumps this size in the wild. They're usually about like this.
That's
and
the whole clump, or?
the whole clump, yeah. But it's very, very short. And this is going to have probably an 8-foot bloom spike when it's blooming. And then we have another So with our seed crops, we end up with other oddballs. This came out of the hybrid. It was supposed to be a Lophantha. It turned out to just be Lophantha, which is that species, but the longleaf form. And this turns bright gold like that other seedling in the winter. This is Goldfinger, and it actually had albino golden flowers when it bloomed. No chlorophyll in it at all. And normally the flowers are greener, and this one was bright gold. So we end up with weird things, growing things from seed.
So it grew good seeds?
We might have a couple pods. And the first year it bloomed, we got a frost. It had started to spike in like March, and it frosted and aborted the flowers. And then we were trying a technique to see if we could get axillary flowers to come out from the rosette. We had seen a post on Facebook where someone had done this with Vilmariniana, the octopus agave, and it was just a solid round cluster of flowers. So we've tried that 3 times now. We've only been successful at getting one side shoot on one so far. But we had probably 30 agaves bloom this year, so we had enough to sacrifice a few. But so we're probably selling agave Perii J.C. Ralston in the nursery. This one is a sport of it with an edge. I don't know if you can come over and look. It's one we start growing things from cross-cutting them or tissue culture, and they mutate in the lab, and some will throw edges and some will throw centers or streaks, and we can cross-cut. We'll basically take a knife and cut the center out of an agave, and it forces all the axillary dormant buds to so it looks like we're doing something really horrible, because we'll actually just completely core the center, and it'll have no growth in the middle. We'll sometimes cut it and then drill down the center and to encourage pupping. So it is. It takes, I gave Tony an agave in 2007 that I had found, and then I visited before I started working. No, it was when I started working here in 2010. And he's like, "Oh, we've grown it for 3 years. Let's take." And he took out his knife and scooped out the core as I'm going. But it, and then it pupped, and now we have probably 50 in the nursery. It's taken a while to develop it, but we grow a lot of variegated agaves as well. So this is Agave ovatifolia, the whale tongue agave. This is no, this came out of just seeds from rare palm seeds.
Okay.
So we just selected this one. It had contorted leaves and a stripe, and it still has one stripe, one little variegated stripe, but it's now just a plain green whale tongue, unfortunately. But this is the one that we have. Well, we have Vanzy that bloomed this year.
These are really seed variable, I take it.
Oh, they're so variable.
I got my replacement ones for my original ovatifolias that I got from Shady Oaks back in the early 2000s. They had ovatifolia leaves, like shaped like an egg, right? That's what ovalia. But then when I got my replacements, I ordered them from that guy in Arizona. I can't think of his name.
Greg,
yeah. And they came like this. They're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's super variable. The Huasteca Giant thing we bought in as ovatifolia, and we started growing them out, and then it's like this is not ovatifolia.
I got a couple of bulbils off of when mine bloomed out. My ovatifolia shaped leaves, they're like the description,
Yeah, let's see.
I'm asleep.
No, I've been reading Gentry for close to 20 years. We just have a small Agave porturana in here. It's not.
That's a proto-americana?
Yeah.
I've never seen one of those. Not out,
Yeah, it's been in the ground for a long time. I would assume this is gonna bloom soonish. I hope. But
the probably holding it back.
Yeah.
It seemed to be hurting the plant, Anna.
No, seeing them in the wild, a lot of them aren't really sun plants. They grow in high forest. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of agaves. They like high shade. I mean, Agave Montana, Agave Gentrii, some of the proto-americanas, Scabra or Asperma. Where I've seen them in the wild, they're in pine oak woodland with some. It's rocky. It's well draining, but they're in high shade. So
probably cool summers and warm winters too, right? Moderately, I mean.
Yeah, especially with stuff outside of Ciudad Victoria. It's up on the mountains. It's cool, but they blast the side of the road to put in the road, and then the plants are showing up in the cracks in the rocks because the seeds will fall and land and germinate and grow out of the cracks in the rocks like princess trees do. Yeah.
From the rock surface
Yeah.
goes to the cracks, it gives them more water to germinate, I
Yeah,
guess.
and it's like princess trees in the mountains in North Carolina. They blast the side, and then you get the first few plants that show up are things that are really
Royal Polonia or whatever.
yeah. They'll just show up.